of, taking the owners through it and making sure they got the assignment so that they can continue. Training never ends. They're going to just steady. Leave it. Hey, good. A little bit of eye contact right there from the person creeping around the corner. I don't blame her for that. We're out here with Miss Eva, and I'm actually specifically making this video for my client as a little bit of information to kind of fall back on, once we send her home. She's got about another week with me, but I wanted to make this video specifically for my clients so that, again, it's like, it's a lot of information when I bring clients out here and take them through the process of this environmental exposure. It seems to be, quite a bit of info all at once. So I figured if I made this video, it gives them something to kind of refer to. And you guys are also going to be the benefactor of all the information that we are going to be relinquishing in this video. In any case, let's talk about the very first thing. Before we get into the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. That is, of course, you see value in the information that we like to deliver here at TFE TV. So anyway, thank you for that. We're at Home Depot, little environmental exposure here. She's doing such a good girl for the time being. We're gonna go ahead and click and pay her. But one of the first things that I do directly out of the vehicle is I actually do give the opportunity. I come over here specifically to this little open grass area, and I don't necessarily ask for suppression or impulse control right off the bat, because I know that she's going to be excited right when she comes out of the vehicle. And my goal is to get her to a point where she's, as you see her right now, my goal is to kind of get her to like a little bit more of a calm space before we enter a place where there's going to be high level stimuli, lots of additional competing motivators and things like this. And those types of things tend to speed a dog up. So, the last thing I really want to do is enter an environment when she's already like overstimulated. And every dog in the history of existence is overstimulated directly out of the vehicle because they're excited to be at a new place. Of course they're going to be excited. So instead of just asking for suppression straight away or impulse control straight away, I like to do her a favor, and I also like to do myself a favor by giving her the option of curiosity, familiarity, and get your wiggles out, come over here, smell, take a piss if you need to, just kind of go to the end of the leash. But we did that before we started filming, so as you can see, she's kind of already sort of gotten to that place where she's acclimated a little bit. Here, good. So that's the first thing that I need to talk about. Now we're gonna take the camera inside and kind of talk about a few other things. So yeah, let's go inside. So we are now back in the store, and I've actually strategically chosen this aisle where there's not really a whole lot going on, so that we can just sort of work on getting her in a little bit more of a follower state of mind. Typically when dogs go directly into high-level stimuli scenarios, like I said previously, it tends to speed them up. And my goal ultimately is to get her to just cruise around with me in a nice little loose leash heel position like this. And so it just kind of gives us an opportunity to practice good habits without sort of going into the deep end to begin with. And what I mean by the deep end is, going towards the front of the store where there's a lot more going on. So this is kind of referring to what I like to consider like, foundational type training, right? We did a lot of this at the ranch so that she does have something to fall back on, right? So if there's no foundation set, right? If we don't prepare the dog before we get to a place where we're going to have like higher expectations of them, I would consider that to be a little bit of an unfair expectation, right? My expectation increases once we've gone through the foundational patterns, which is exactly what we're doing right now. It's really nothing fancy. Come on, baby. Good. It's really nothing fancy. It's just practicing a good habit, and then from here, kind of leveling up a little bit. Put some different looks in front of her, some different challenges, and things like this. If she offers me a sit, I'll just click and pay that. Free. Good. Stuff like that. All right. We're going to be practicing control. right? We have two different types of walks. We have this specific walk here, which is the structured walk where I expect her to be in this nice heel. And then we also have one that I guess we can refer to as sort of like the enrichment walk where, I'll probably have her on a little bit of a long line, or the 6-foot leash, and I'll just give her more freedom to, sniff and use her nose and tap into that seeking system. Nice enrichment, enjoy yourself. But super important to practice the structured stuff. Um, are you good, bro? Because we're going to need that, right? We need that expectation set so that when we do, we're in tighter quarters and we need more control, she has that to fall back on. I think I've repeated myself there a couple of times, but good girl. So that's it. That's what we're doing right now. Okay, guys, we're back, and make sure the mic's on. Beautiful. Whenever I see something like this little yellow ladder right here, I typically will look at this as like an opportunity to both work on some confidence building, but also work on obedience. Now, I like to be able to work the obedience wherever we go, but I particularly like this platform here. We're going to go ahead and pay that. As you can see, guys, she doesn't really lack a lot of confidence. Good. Okay, come on down. Good. Actually, never even like showed her this. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take you through like the slow progressive process because she kind of just sent it on her own. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, she was skeptical about this. I'm just going to explain this very quickly and we'll move on to the next topic. But if she were to just put her front two on the first one, you'd pay her, you'd release her, and then she'd kind of graduate to the second one. And of course, you could utilize the food as a lure. Oh, good. If she's going to offer a down there, I'm just going to click and pay that. I might even just drop the leash and then challenge her a little bit more by creating some space, right? Create some space, come back, and what we're going to do is reinforce the fact that she maintained position even when I created some distance between her and myself. Because a lot of time, it's really challenging for a dog to sort of maintain position once you start to walk away from the topic, from the subject. So we'll click and pay. We have a bit of a challenge on the way. Down. Good. And I'm just going to wait till she kind of performs the whole behavior of going back down. Very good. Highly food-driven dog, which makes things really nice. It's good stuff. Reinforce. I thought somebody was going to come by, but that's okay. Down. No, 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 no. Down. Good. Good. Now it's important that I reinforce that there because if I just allow her to hop up, then what I say doesn't mean anything. And what I mean, so say what you mean what you say, right? So if I asked her to down like this, then this is the behavior that I expect from her. Good. Good job. Free. So right there, I actually strategically was giving her food while the individual was walking by, just to kind of keep her on what it is that we were, performing, what it is that we were doing. So when the next person comes by, what I would do is I wouldn't put food in her face as the person was walking by, just to see, how she would respond to it, right? A lot of the time, dogs would think that if someone walks by, that's like an invite, for them to go say what's up to that person or to just be distracted by them in general. And so, ideally, like a great result would be she maintains position, perhaps acknowledges the person, and if she doesn't get up and she looks back to me, well, then I would pay her for that amazing choice. Does that make sense? And the reason why I like to feed while the people are coming by is because I want that association to be built within her, that when somebody walks by, that's like something's going to be in it for her. And it's not to suggest that like go towards the person. It's like I'm the better choice. So like something really good is happening while the person is walking by. And that would remove the interest that she would have in that person or that thing and sort of focus on me as an alternative. And obviously, ultimately the main goal when we come to environmental type situations is to have the dog's main focus be on us. Nope. Good. So, similar to that. We have big challenges on the way. So sit. Good. Down. So here I'm just going to kind of remove the food and let her make a choice. Bam, right there. It's perfect. Boom, doing a good job for us, buddy. And then I'll free her. Good job, pay her on the free. That's good. So that's it, man. That's it for that one. Let's move on. Okay, so we have chosen another aisle where there's not a lot going on because we're going to challenge her in a little bit of a different way this time. So, here, good. What we're going to try to do is, work behaviors on the ground. Previously, you saw us doing it up on the platform, but this is a little bit of a different look. It's a little bit of a different challenge. Down. Good. So we're going to ask her to go down. We're going to step away. A couple steps. And one thing that I want to make note of is when you're going to reinforce, it's important to really get down here, starting down here and come in this way, because if she's having a hard time holding the position and you kind of come in from the top, good. She actually held her position, but if you come straight from the top, the dog has a tendency to come up to try to grab the food and break the position. So our goal is for her to maintain this position. Yes. So you didn't really see that right there, but she actually tried to get up, but she self-corrected. Now, anytime a dog self-corrects, I like to actually reward directly after the self-correction, because I want her to know that I really appreciate the fact that she was tempted to get up, she didn't, so she goes like this, realizes that I haven't broken her from the command yet, and then goes directly back down. That's going to be followed by a yes. That's going to be followed immediately by a marker and a reward, because I really want to paint that clear picture in that Picasso so that she understands when she self-corrects, that's such a good thing, and I love that she's maintaining position. She's being a little bit of a silly girl right now, so here. Good, sit, down. I'm gonna click and pay the down. Down, I'll give her a little reminder as I start to back away. And I'm gonna try to break my record right now in terms of distance. So there's a broken record, yes. We're gonna use a yes marker, which is for me, my release in motion marker. Now, a lot of people are curious as to what the difference between using good and yes is. For me, I distinguish the difference between those two markers, namely the good. She's stationary, she's doing good. I want her to keep doing what she's doing. Yes, she did it, come get your reward in motion. So that's basically a very fundamental way to extinguish the difference between good and yes. Sit, good. But I'm also continuing to charge the marker, which is a clicker. And so that's a video for another time. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so I can really, I can make a whole separate video on that. Down. Click and pay. Down. Yes! That quick little motion that I did right there was to challenge her. She is not to get up and break the position unless I give her the marker to. So me moving funny or all this is to challenge her impulse control. And for a dog like this is something we want to continue. I mean, for any dog in general, but a rambunctious, overexcitable dog like this, impulse control is everything if you want to get away from that overly excited, rambunctious dog that you have all the time. Now, of course, the flip side to that is making sure that we're biologically fulfilling her, giving her her physical exertion, gameplay, all these types of things, which correlates to like the overall balanced, happy dog, right? It's not just one thing or the other. It's, really addressing the entire thing in reference to what we believe leans into a good, healthy relationship and a happy dog that is fulfilled, has good obedience, and is nice and balanced out. Okay, but they're not going to really get that way unless we do things like this proactively to get to that place. Because inherently, dogs are very self-serving, they're very manipulative creatures, And they're always going to kind of do what they want to do, which is why we love utilizing reward systems, because if we could formulate our training in reference to what's in it for the dog, it's 10 times more likely we're going to get the things that we require out of them, and things, you know, to take a step further, things that we need. Sit. Yes. You. Sit. Down. Good. Good right there. I meant to double click that. So I use a double click for a release. All right. So sit. Down. No. Down. So kind of like that. This is it, man. Pet dog training isn't supposed to be like brain bursting, overly exciting. Typically it's relatively boring. But I think there's a lot of, you know, little nuance, and there's, you know, timing, and there's, you know, little things that we've explained throughout the course of this video that could really be a benefactor as long as you're proactive. You know, I'm going to end the video by saying this. The only difference between a dog that can behave in an environment like this versus a dog that can't are the little things that we've gone over this whole video, and doing this a lot. It's like, if you go to a place where your dog can go, take your dog and work on these types of things. Like, don't just be like, oh, I'll do it later. Like, no, dude, like, there's no substitute for the amount of repetitions required to achieve, you know, our goals, right? And this is just a head start. She's so silly. You're such a silly girl. Does that feel good? Does that feel good to her? So anyway, that's it, man. That's all we got for this video. Leave a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Chad. This is Eva. And maybe I'll grab some content of the final go home, which will be in about a week for her, of her people handling her and doing all of this stuff, which is the most important part, right? This was all just to make it a little easier for their owners, so that, you know, I do the reps and just get her going, lay the foundation. Now it's just a matter of, you know, taking the owners through it and making sure they got the assignment so that they can continue. Training never ends. They're going to just steady. Leave it. Hey, good. Sit. Good. A little bit of eye contact right there from the person creeping around the corner. I don't blame her for that. Hey, redirection. Sit. Give her a different job. Good. Now she's doing the good thing. Really good stuff. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. You. Good girl.